All right, you guys, welcome back to Words by Faye and You. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and get into spoken flows. We have a special guest today. He is a current poet from Orlando, Florida. And I want everybody to welcome him. His name is Jared, and we're going to go ahead and let him on the stream. Give me 1 second. Hey, Jared. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Give me a quick second.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Now we're working.
All right. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm great. I'm just happy you finally got able to get on the podcast together. I know we've been going back and forth for quite a minute, so I'm glad we finally found some time to link up and just network.
Same. I know last week we had at least me. I had a crazy week last week. I came back from a work trip and just running around.
Yes, I know. I was like, it's so hard just to find somebody that can just, be available. So everyone's busy, but I'm just starting out. So I know once I, build some credibility, people will start coming around. But thank you for, trusting me and coming on my podcast and, allowing me to showcase your poetry, because I think I got a sample of it on Instagram. I forgot where I found you from. I think it was from what's it called? Is it Respect the Mic Orlando? I think it's called. Yeah, I think that's where I found you from. But we're gonna I want you to go ahead and tell me, do you have a name for your poem today?
Name for the poem is called Asking for a Friend.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let you say your poem, and then after I'm just gonna ask you a few questions just to get some background on you and your poetry.
Gotcha.
So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start. I'll just mute myself so you can get everything out.
Gotcha. It's a little weird, usually I do it like in front of other people and then just do it on like a Zoom. This one is called Asking for a Friend, so it goes like this. So I don't know about you, but it seems like we all know that one couple. That couple. They're the ones you double down on excuses when they ask you to go on double dates, See, this couple looks more like a stutter the way they stop and start with no end in sight. My bad. I thought y'all were supposed to finish each other's sentences. You see, I'm not one to point fingers. My track record could be as messy as some people's search history, but searching for love seems to have come to an end. So don't judge me for this story. I may just be asking for a friend. See, me and her go way back. I met her in elementary. A love so basic and simple was basically elementary. Man, she had me mesmerized. Captivated by her eyes that were the gateways of a soul I could melt in. Her smile was more receipt proof that God still makes works of art. My heart jumped in the bounce house of my rib cage with every touch, while her voice was the only lullaby to stand me still. But still, I wonder where it all went wrong. See, I bet it was the night she was finally dressed in worry that was a homecoming of her jealousy, or maybe it was prom. See, I thought I was going to get lucky, but instead she got drunk off of emotion, threw up her anger all over me, rinsed it with shame, and told me to mop it with a list full of excuses. The next day, she tried to play pretend, told me to play hide and seek with the best parts about her, told me I love you as if it was a down payment for every surprise party of an argument she throw in the future. Newsflash, I don't like surprises. She is a walking cliche, a devil in a tight dress, a vampire, a bloodsucker. If our love was a movie, you could see the twilight in her eyes. See, I wonder how someone that can be so cold can feel like a blanket of warmth. My friends, they saw this and sat me down. Told me, you need to drop her like a bad habit. It said, she's been around the block. She's well known. She's hot on the internet. You're not the only fan she's got. They said, man, you need to drop her. Man, don't you know that fear makes for a terrible lover. See, she's the type to have locations pinned on all the locations pinned on all your notifications. In fact, she got the passwords to all your anti-socials. In fact, her blood boils when you come home with the smell of a new opportunity. Don't you know her and God don't play nice together? He likes to leaps in faith. She likes to bungee jump to conclusions. Funny story, fear likes a special and safety. She doesn't open legs, she closes dreams. She's a storyteller. She huddles men around the campfire, tells them they were born without wings, cuts them off, and uses them to toss paper planes. Man, you need to drop her ASAP. And so I did. I told her, we need to take a break. She hung up the phone, then proceeded to hit me up tonight before our spoken word. She said, why do a spoken word? We haven't spoken in months. I looked at the phone and let it go. Who knows where the story may end? I don't know about you. Maybe I'm just asking for a friend. That's it.
Oh, that was so good. That was dope. That was really dope. Like, that's why I just love spoken words. Like, just the energy, like the passion. That's what really drew me to that. And when you were just saying your poem, like, I can just, it's like, it's so engaging. It's like, it's so good. Now,
I was trying to, like, usually I'm Hispanic, so I talk with my hands all the time. So I don't know, I'm trying to, like, hands because I'm not actually doing like one in front of like a bunch of people. So it's like trying to like
yeah, I know that plays a big part in, like, you know, usually your body language, all that plays a part in spoken words. That was good though. So what inspired you to write this poem?
I think just anything I write in general is kind of just a reflection of where I'm at the moment. So I think I have a good amount of people in my life that have kind of called things out. And I think fear is one of those ones, because that's an interesting topic, because I think a lot of us have that underlying, but we don't really like address that, and it shows up in different ways. So I think for a lot of us, we just think fear of like, oh, I'm just scared, you know, so I'm not going to do something. But I think a lot of us, especially if we're talking like minorities, we're talking Black, brown people, I think a lot of us, we're scared to attempt different things just because we haven't seen it done before. So I think that's something, that's just where I'm at right now.
Yes, I definitely understand that. You know, with our people just trying something different, is just, you know, they're scared of it. But, you know, I think it's good to, you know, step out your comfort zone, try something different, you know, especially with something somebody else is not doing. Because, you know, I've never been the one to want to, you know, fit in with the crowd. I'm always, you know, doing my own thing. So I definitely feel that for you. And what made you want to come on this podcast? Like, what made you trust me to, you know, come on here and give me a chance?
I mean, it sounds like a dumb answer. It sounds like a dumb answer, but I think you just asked. So I'm always a busy guy, but oftentimes, like, if somebody asks me for something, often too, like, I'll make the time eventually. I know we didn't do it last time, but eventually I end up doing it. Trusting you. I'm a very I don't want to say trusting person, but
I got you. I definitely understand. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. You know, a lot of people, if you don't have any credibility, they're like, oh, well, why would I waste my time to go on there? So, you know, I appreciate that. So how did you get into writing poetry?
That's a funny story. So I've gone to church most of my life. And the funny thing is, like, I used to do raps. I still do every now and then, but not really like that. I focus more on spoken word. But I remember back in the day, it's a long story, but it's a short story. A long time ago, they were trying to do a hip opera, like back in the day, like the early 2000s. And I remember they were trying to have this event, and they were trying to have a couple of MCs go. And I was like 15 at the time or something like that. And they had started doing auditions, and I tried to do it, but they kept saying that I was too nervous. And I guess that the content wasn't that good. I don't know. I don't remember the full story, but I remember that time I was like, damn, bro, I'm not that good. Whatever, man. Screw it. So I just kind of put it to the side, but I've always written stuff every now and then. I had a friend, I'd probably say 2017, 2018. it's actually not that far along. But doing like a church event, and he had asked me to do. He's like, well, you do raps every now and then, so you can do spoken words. And I was like, well, I don't think that's the same thing. But okay. The first time I did it, I think it was 2017, and I remember the first practice, it was really bad because I think they had written it for me and they just wanted me to say it. So I said it, but I said it like rapping. So I just started going really, really, really fast. And it's like, no, man, you have to slow it down. You have to have the people feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
Started from there, like they wrote that out. And then from there, I just started writing my own stuff. And I was like, oh, damn, I'm actually pretty good at this.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say like actually like rap and like, you know, all those, it's really like the same thing because, you know, it's all like poetry except that, you know, have a beat on it and you gotta have like a certain flow. But I'm glad you did say that because, yeah, you do have to like switch it up with spoken word because it's a certain way you have to do it. You don't want to go too fast. So like everybody just like, wait, what? They can't really, you know, catch what you said. But once you do those, you know, add those dramatic pauses and, you know, all those other things, it grabs the listener. They're like, okay, what are you going to say next? Or it made them really think about what you said. But
I heard, I think it was a comedian. I think it was Andrew Schultz. He was saying that I think you can apply it to spoken word, to a poetry in general. He was talking about how like in a comedian skit, right? Like everything, piece of time that you have in your skit, like that's real estate that you can use, right? So he was talking about even if there's dead silence and you pause for a quick second just for people to like feel what you're saying and they make some type of face or they do something like, you know, you're watching the Dave Chappelle skit or something like that, he makes a face, anything, but he does something with his face, he does something with his hands, and like that still impacts as much as like you saying something. So I took that and I heard that maybe like the end of last year. And I'm like, damn, brother, you can use that for spoken word too. Like you can just go ahead and take some pauses, use them to your advantage, and just kind of have understand what you're actually saying. Because that's something that I'm a fast talker, obviously. So like I just like trying to rip as quick as possible. So for me, I'm trying to learn how to slow it down and try to make people feel everything that you're saying.
Yeah, I definitely felt that a little bit when you was on saying your poetry. You was going a little fast, but I definitely still felt it. But yeah, if you definitely like add in like, you know, a couple, you know, wherever you seem fit to like add those dramatic pauses. And, you know, even like when somebody like repeats like the same phrase, like that adds like an effect too. You're repeating it because they be like, oh, it make them really get like what you said. But what you did, like, it's really awesome. But that's really the only thing I can say is just, you know, like just working on like slowing it down and, you know, just pacing yourself so they can really feel it. But other than that, like, you're dope. You're still dope. Like, regardless, I still was blown away at your own poetry. That's why I just love spoken words. I just love the energy from it.
I think I was going to an open mic. I think it was called Free Yourself. I don't know if Simba looks at these at this podcast, but there's a well-known artist in Orlando. Her name is Simba. She's like known everywhere. So she's I saw one of her stories. She's talking about how like people bar hop, and then like there's some people that just open mic hop. So she's at an event, and I remember before I got in the event, it was before I started like doing it, like actually doing it like that. I remember this homeless dude just stopped me, and I didn't have any cash. I was like, I'm sorry, dog, I don't have any cash on me, and I'm about to go in. And he goes, no, I just gotta tell you my rap. I just gotta tell you my spoken word.
Yeah.
And then, like, tell me yours. And I was like, about to start, but okay. So I said it. He goes, no, man, I need you to slow it down. I need you to tell me so I can feel it, man. So I can feel it, bro. I'm like, oh. So yeah, that's just like kind of what you were saying.
Yeah, he knows something. He definitely knows something.
Yeah, he was actually really dope.
Yeah, he sounds like it. But okay, so what obstacles did you face, if any, with poetry or writing?
Poetry or I mean, everybody gets writer's block every now and then. Yeah. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Challenges, I think it's just learn. I don't see it as challenge. I see it as learning.
Right. That's good. Yeah.
I just see it as from where I started. When I got in the funny story, when I got in the open mic scene, I like we talked about the speed, trying to slow things down, all that stuff. So I just reciting things as a rap. So I had close friends and mentors that would see that. And then I think I went on like not a tour, but I did a couple of shows back to back to back to back to back to back. I started learning. And then I remember those same people like 2 months later, like, damn, what the hell happened to you? You got so much better. So I don't see it as that. I just see, I guess the only challenge would just be trying to relate with people like during the show and after the show. I think that's the biggest challenge of them all, because you can go into an open mic and not really talk to anybody and then just like disappear right after. But I think the biggest challenge is actually trying to get to know people and trying to build relationships that way.
Definitely. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. So did you have a good support system, like just starting everything, like either with rap or doing spoken words?
I would say yes, but no. I don't have a clear answer for that. In the sense of like, I have friends that they think it's dope, but I don't have a lot of friends that come through like the open mics. And so I have maybe like one or two that show up every now and then. Mm-hmm. And I know for some people, like I have friends that's like a big deal for them, that they need a support system all the time, or they want support system all the time. Mm-hmm. For me, I like it because I get to link up, kind of like what we were just talking about. I get to link up with people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of build relationships that way. So therefore, like one thing I told, I had one of my pastors too. He was telling me, because he said he wanted to join, he wanted to do one of the things with me, whatever like that. I was like, nah, you ain't gonna show up, whatever. But I was telling him, I was like, I like it though, because it's like, instead of me just, having, when you go somewhere and you have your friends with you, mm-hmm. It's easy to just like hang out with them, and that's easy. But what's hard is actually, you don't know nobody in the crowd, and you have to and talk with them and kind of just build relationships that way. So mm-hmm. For me, because it puts you in a corner, you have to actually like build with people. So it's a challenge, I guess, or an obstacle, or whatever you want to call it, but I love it too at the same time.
Yeah, that's definitely how it was. Because I used to be shy, so is I never been the one to like, put myself out there or always be in the mix or trying to be, always with the popular kids and all that. I just one of those like people, once you talk to her, you're like, oh, she's not quiet, like she's actually, a dope person. But it's just like, I don't, just always go out my way. But now it's like, you have to network with people. So it's like you kind of have to go out your way. So, but it's definitely, just stretching you. And if you're comfortable, you're not growing. So I've definitely been uncomfortable with all this, but that's definitely a great point. Networking definitely is key, because it's going to be strangers that support you. It's never like the ones you expect. So if people watching this don't suspect like your friends, family, it might be a handful, but it's going to be mostly strangers that support you in what you're doing.
I have and one of those friends, I don't know if he's going to see this, but I always get on him because like he gets upset about that. Like he's like, yo, friends don't support me. Like, you're the only one that supports me. Yeah. I sound a lot more though. Like for me, I've gotten used to it. So I was like, yo, it means a lot more to me doing it. Like nobody's really like, and it doesn't matter to me. I just do it because I like doing it. Yeah. But it means a lot to me doing it that way, instead of like having a crowd always follow you. It's like, oh, cool. Like I'm gonna go to this open mic and I'm gonna go to this. That's not everybody's scene. So I like do it kind of not on my own, but kind of on my own.
Yeah, that's definitely build a different type of muscle in you too. It's like, not just having everybody, that whole support system, but building it up. And, it's just a different type of feel. Let me see. Is there anything you wish you would have did differently or known starting out or right now currently?
I guess learning a little bit more, or even starting a little bit earlier. But I didn't have any control over that, but did have control over that. Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to start a little bit earlier. I feel like I could have been a monstrosity if I started back in the day.
I know, right?
But I still, it is what it is. But I like learning from other artists. I like me some Rudy Francisco. I like me some, I forgot her name. I was listening to her the other day. Something, I forgot her name. But I like listening to different artists and just kind of growing that way. So I wish I would have started that a lot earlier. Yeah. Instead of just kind of like just jumping on, and then afterwards I started, I didn't really like look at other people doing it. I just went myself. And then like a year into it, then I started looking at other artists. I was like, damn, like I didn't know you can, this artist expresses himself this way, she expresses way. So I can make not a baby, but I can make a baby out of it too. And it's like making my own thing per se.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. That's kind of how I did. I just kind of went in there, just did some spoken words. But I kind of, probably like a couple months ago, I started looking into like, how other people do spoken words, like the dramatic pauses, different stuff you got to do to make people really feel, what you're saying.
And there's even like subgenres. I don't want to say subgenres, but every ethnicity has their own thing too, right?
Yeah.
So that's like there's like, it's gonna sound bad, but it's like there's white people that have their spoken word scene, and that's great and that's dope. And there's black people that have
different type of, like feels like, different groups, they might not really, receive it like that other group might receive it. So it's definitely knowing your crowd too, that's important. Because you might be like crickets, other people looking at you like,
that's
like
true.
what?
That's true. So I have friends that joke, they don't joke around, but it's like, man, like if I go to I'll try to explain, right? So I go to, I don't want to say white, but like a more Caucasian crowd, more like, I've done that before. I don't really do that more often now. So I'll go to more, and I'm not saying this because obviously I'm here with you, but I'll go to more of a black crowd. For me, I like the energy a lot better. Like I feel like it's a lot more oomph to it. It's a lot more soul. Versus like you go to the other one, you go to any other one, right? I haven't been to them all. It's a little bit more just like, this is how I feel today. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's dandy, but we'll put a pause on that. We'll go somewhere else.
Definitely. So do you have any advice for any aspiring poets who want to get into like spoken word or anything?
So I got a couple people that I do kind of mentor right now. What I always tell them is let go of the rhyming. Right off.
Yeah.
That's a safety net. So every time I have a conversation with somebody they're usually a little bit more younger, they want to get into kind of the scene, they always start showing me a poem, and I know for a fact it's always going to rhyme. The whole and they can just say, hey, I went to go, this is an example, this is probably not something that I've heard, but it's, I went to go take a walk, and I went to go jock, and I went to go when there's chalk, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And it's like, oh, but it rhymes, and I'm like, okay, cool. It means a lot more. It means a lot more if you can say something without rhyming and still have it hit like really hard. So that's actually what I've learned from, and I brought him up earlier. That's what I learned from Rudy. Is being able to say stuff and have it hit like a haymaker without actually like having to rhyme. So that I think
that's a great point, because I started off just doing like regular poetry. I wrote poems. So, I was always, focused on rhyming. But when I started getting to spoken words, I realized like, they don't really rhyme everything. Like not everything really has to rhyme. It just has to, mean something. So, I caught that. I'm not the one, not everything rhymes. Some things will rhyme, but some things won't rhyme. Because I know it's a difference.
If you look at like all the, I don't want to say successful poets, but if you look at the more obviously prominent poets, they're the ones that often, they don't have to rhyme. Like they can say, like, that's why I keep on that fact, like they can say stuff and make you feel things and make you imagine what they're saying without actually like having to rhyme. If anything, rhyming is a safety net to these people. So I'll say that, and I'll say just trying to find I'll say the rhyming thing, and then also too, like, just confidence in what you're saying. So I don't, obviously, well, for anybody that's looked at my stuff, I don't curse, or I don't really talk about anything like super, super out there. I just talk about everyday life stuff that like me and you or whatever can relate to. And I've realized through, there was an open mic that I used to go back in the day. And they would say some wild stuff. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But like, not wild as in like, they just dropped the fire line. Like, it's just like, yo, oh, wild. What are you talking about? But they said it, bro. They said it with such like, they said it with so much soul, and they said it with, I don't say authority, but they said it with like so much oomph. It got a reaction out of everyone in the crowd.
Including how you say it.
It's all how you it's all how you say it. So that's why I tell people, it's like, you can't just, especially, and this is why I tell it's important to go ahead and go to slams and go to open mics, because if you ain't gonna go to a slam, or you ain't gonna go to an open mic and be, trying to talk about something important without you actually having, like, it's like you're selling something. You're not going to sell something without you making it believable. So just imagine you're talking about, let's say, fear, and I went up on the crowd and just said it just like very timid. Anyway, believe me, like, what you talking about?
Yeah, that's definitely, like, spoken word is all about, your energy, your confidence. Like everybody I watch, they just have, like, it's like you gotta actually feel what you're writing. You gotta turn into like a whole nother person, just switch it on and off like that. That's why I really just love spoken word. It's like, I see some amazing people. Like, I just, want to see the progress and, what I can really become. Cause, I want to, not be able just to rhyme and do all the other stuff, but, actually just say what I have to say and you feel it. Not just like, okay, well, what rhymes with this word or stuff like that. I'm glad you definitely pointed that out, because, I'm going to be looking more into that, not really focus on rhyming. If it rhymes, but, not feeling like I have to let it rhyme. So, you definitely taught me something. But okay, do you have any last words you would like to say to the people listening?
Last words. Not really. Just, I'm putting out new stuff, maybe not consistently, but I'm putting out new stuff every now and then. And yeah, I'm having fun with it. I just encourage it. Okay, if I do I make up stuff as I go in my head. Yeah, man, like, kind of like we were saying, man, just go ahead and if you want to do something, go ahead and do it. And if you want to go ahead and do do poetry, do spoken word, you don't care what anybody really says. Take the critique as it comes and just keep it moving. And then come with that energy. I think is the biggest thing. If you're gonna come up there, you're gonna get eaten alive if you don't.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Okay, so go ahead and give everybody your social tags where they can connect with you and just to see more of your work.
So I am on Instagram, I'm at JA_RED 1205. So it's Jared 1205 with an underscore right after the JA. It's not all spoken word. I'm a creative director for an energy drink company, so there's a lot of that in there too. So just having fun traveling and then doing spoken words. I got a lot going on.
Yes, I see. It was such a pleasure having you here. I really enjoyed our convo. You're a great person to talk to. And I just thank you. If you ever want to come on again, to share some spoken words, you're welcome to come back. I just, want to thank you again for taking your time out your day to come on my podcast and just for, believing in my vision and giving me a chance.
No problem. Hey, just like we talked about not too long ago, it's the same thing we talked about with the spoken word. Like, it goes with your podcast stuff too. So don't come here. Don't come. I know you said it earlier. Don't come here saying it's like, why would you trust me? This little man. I don't. You guys met you on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a little podcast or not. You just gotta treat it with the same.
Yeah, that's definitely, because sometimes people will research, they were like, oh, well, she don't look like she got nothing going on. Some people just care about popularity, but that's why I go for like the organic people. I can tell if somebody's like, they're my type of people. I can just, I'm real good at reading people. So I can tell you had a good soul to you. So I wanted to bring you on.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining me. I'll see you later. And everybody, make sure you guys go follow Jared on Instagram. He's a dope spoken word artist. And make sure you guys connect with him.
I appreciate it. You have a good night.
All right, you as well.